Hello and welcome to Varieties of Slice of Life. As always, I am Anthony, and joining me today is the lovely Zach.
Hello.
And Jarrett.
Salutations, Internet.
We are a bi-monthly podcast. If this is your first time joining us, we post on the 1st and 15th of every month, always talking about one specific anime or a broad subject. Today we're going to be talking about romance for the lovely Valentine's Day special.
Haha, you fools, you've entered my domain.
Wait, why did the light change to pink?
Mood lighting.
Yeah.
Ah, I see.
So yeah, Zach is kind of the expert in this area, so he'll probably be talking about most of this stuff.
He'll be our guide through the genre of romance in anime.
See, when we get to action, that's my time to shine, but not this. So.
And I'm somewhere in the middle. I think I probably hold the best variety, I think.
You are the variety.
Yeah, I hear that's the slice of life.
Ooh.
Hey.
So yeah.
I've been served a cease and desist. We're the people who made this. Whatever.
So, hope you guys had a good Valentine's Day yesterday. If you're listening to this later on, I hope you have a good Valentine's Day. So yeah, romance can be seen in like one of two categories, where it's a side plot of a greater anime, and it doesn't really I wouldn't say pertain to the. It's more so just like a little tidbit added in between two characters, or it's like that's the main focus of the anime.
Mm-hmm.
And this is probably one of the categories that hits hardest in these two departments, because almost every show that has a male lead usually has a female that's some kind of love interest. Some of the most fucking action-packed ones, like Gurren Lagann and shit, have like weird romance plots that don't really go anywhere. All that shit with everyone having googly eyes for Yoko, but whatever.
She's 13. You're all pedophiles.
Except for Simone, he's fine. Sad that he's like probably closest in age to her.
Yeah, when she looks like an adult at the beginning and he's like a gremlin.
But yeah, so I haven't seen a lot of romance anime. So what would be probably your favorite one, Jarrett?
Easily. Actually, now that you say favorite, I have top two because I kind of forgot about one because it's weird in my head. I don't think of it as a romance anime, but for me, top favorite hands down is Tsurezure Children, which is not a mini series, but it's it has 12 episodes, but each of the episodes is kind of like a shorter length than like a normal quote unquote anime where it's like the 22 or 24 minutes. They're a little bit shorter than that, but it just follows the story of multiple different people in relationships. Like I think there's 6 or 7 couples, and then like a couple of other side ones that they throw in here and there. And you would think that, there's a lot going on, but they make each relationship very unique and different, so you're actually invested and interested in all of them going on. Were you gonna say something?
No, I was just interested. I didn't know this.
Yeah, that's kind of originally what hooked me at first, was just seeing that it's like not just one thing, it's a bunch of people's relationships going on at the time. And I find it funny because I watch most of my stuff dubbed, so you start running into things where you hear a lot of the same voice actors and whatnot. For one of the main people, there's Takase is one of the main people. He's actually voiced by Deku, or the dub voice for Deku.
I love Deku's voice.
And it's funny because the girl that he ends up liking is that's how the show starts, is like them sitting out in the snow, and like the female was, I gotta find her name real quick, but she was basically asking him to come to this tree so that she can more or less confess her feelings to her or to him, or it's Kanda.
She confesses the feelings to herself. She's like, I like me a lot.
No, but
to let somebody know.
She is confessing to him. She's really shy about it. So they started off by 10 minutes passed. She hasn't said anything. He's just like, man, it's getting cold. He's got snow on his head. But it's funny because the character looks like Uraraka a little, like 80% she looks like Uraraka. So just in my head, I'm like, man, this is some like fan fiction almost come to life. Which is speeding up the whole Deku and Uraraka thing.
Is the art style like traditional, or is it different, I should say?
I would say that it's fairly traditional kind of anime. Like, it's nothing. There are only two things that stand out for me that make it like, okay, three things that stand out differently than, like, I don't want to say run of the mill anime, but normal stuff. The way they do eyes, because the eyes, all of them are kind of like, they're all kind of one color, but they're just like incredibly shiny and they stick out. Even on the characters that have like dark, like hazel, like darker gray kind of eyes, they all kind of stand out. And then it's just the,
when you say the whole eyes, like the entire eye is the same color?
It's hard to explain. Like, I will show you a picture of one of the characters and you'll understand what I mean by it.
And I'll throw it up on the screen, obviously, for viewers, but...
Yeah, but it's not like a normal eye where there's just, like, there's a lot of the white. Yeah, sorry. But, like, there's a bit of white around it, but most of it is, like, the iris. It's most of it is the color.
There's a lot of, like, pupil.
Yeah. It's a lot of people, but I like the way that they do eyes on this, and then the lighting is pretty consistent throughout, and it just makes everything, like, lighter and happier and poppier. And then the uniforms, I love how they did the uniforms for a bunch of the female characters, which is not something that I thought I would have noticed, but watching a lot of anime, after a certain point you just start noticing things, and I just noticed that I really like the style that they did the uniforms for this. But there's like, I like, for the pun, I like the variety in the show, because there's a bunch of different couples. Like, there's one where they've been dating for like a year, but they didn't really, I guess, as they put it, the couple, neither one of them knew that they were actually dating. They just thought that they were still being really good friends. So when one of them brings up, it's like, why haven't we done anything? It's been a year. It's like, we've been dating for a year. He's like, what? We've been dating for a year? It's like, what do you mean? He's like, I've been waiting for you to make the move. I've been waiting for you to make the move. And then they just eventually start dating.
Well, there you go.
One of them is like trying to start, but they're both very shy. That was the first one. My favorite one.
You said that every episode is a different couple?
Actually, every episode has like 3 different.
Wow.
Like, it goes around. There's like 6, let's say, main relationships that they focus on, and then there's like a couple like little sub ones that they throw in here and there, or that they tie into helping one of the other couples.
Like the sister, which is one of my favorite characters.
I love that side one. It's so good.
So what happens with the sister?
So the sister is that there's actually a lot going on in that one. So the guy and the girl that likes him, they're both the class reps. She doesn't want to do it because she's very lazy, but they both end up spending time together because they're both the class reps.
Mm-hmm.
So she just constantly is almost like, not teasing him that she likes him, but he says at one point, he's like, I can't really tell if you're actually liking me because it seems like almost everything with you is a joke about it. So the entire thing through them going out is just whether she actually likes him or not. And this like spans months in the show. It's like just whether she truly likes him or she's just teasing him with it. So after that, the sister comes into the school because she moves up in grades and whatnot. And the first thing that happens is that the girl who likes him just shows up and just starts, acting the way she does, where she's all kind of lovey-dovey but joking, and the little sister's just losing her mind. It's just like, you can't really be possibly thinking about dating this girl, are you? He's like,
the sister has some of the best like reaction faces. Like, you can just like there's so many like freaking image like screen cap worthy freaking facials from her. She just makes the funniest faces in response to like.
Although the best part is like a few episodes later when they come back to them, It's just the brother has gone to like take a shower, and the little sister is just like on his phone. And he was talking with the girl, so she's just like trying to play it off as like he's breaking up with her, because it's actually after they start dating. But the girl figures out very quickly that it's the little sister, so she just starts making it very. She goes a lot extra, basically saying that she's pregnant. She's like, "Well, what are we going?" It's like, "How did you like last night?" And she's like, "It was all right." It's like, really? Is that all you had to say after what happened? She's like, the little sister's like, "Wait, what happened?" He's like, "You don't remember getting me knocked up?"
I just love it. Like,
freaks out.
yeah, she just runs out of the room screaming. It's like, "Mom!" It's like brother's gonna have a baby, and then like he's walking back into his room. He's like, "What?" Though the best part of this show is definitely the delinquent and like the freaking like class president guy.
Oh my god. Their whole relationship starts out as something so weird. Because it's just like the guy who's Akagi, like Zach was saying, he's the class president. And the entire thing starts with him finding her, Kaji, just smoking behind the school. And more or less he's just offering to pay her money for sex and whatnot. But he's just like, "Well, what's your going rate?" She's like, like 1,000 yen or something like that. He's like, "All right," just pulls out a bunch of cash. She's like, "Wait, you really have that much on you?" And he's just like, "Well, you haven't," and he's just like playing her the whole time. It's like, "Yeah, you haven't really done this before, have you?" She's like, what makes you say that?" He's like, "This is not the going rate. This is cheap."
Yeah, like their relationship is the best because like she tries to act tough, but then like the guy just kind of always like one ups her and just puts her like makes her really like embarrassed.
But weirdly, she then tries to better herself because by the end of the show, she's actually studying and trying to get into college so that she can be with him. Like it's
Wholesome
the
ending.
parts that they have up until that is very funny but weird because it's mostly just him messing with her to, I guess, prove some points, but like, positive lesson kind of things. Aside from the first one, because it's just like they just start off studying and he just ends up like kissing her, and she's just like Zach was saying, just the whole way through she's just trying to be tough and a delinquent, but it just kind of melts away. Like more and more it goes on. And he's weirdly wholesome about it. Like for some of them he's just like, "Yeah, now you kind of know how much restraint I have for like my feelings towards you."
You said these are only like 12-minute episodes?
They're somewhere in between like 12 and like 15.
Oh, well, still.
So it's shorter form.
Yeah, the way you're describing this sounds like there should be a lot more than.
Yeah,
Like,
there's
a
a
lot
lot
going
manga,
on
but...
for how little there actually sounds like there is.
Yeah, because there's like I said, there's a lot. Like there's, because like just going through all of them, there's the one with the sister who there's the one with the sister. There's the normal one that they're trying to start out, but they keep kind of messing it up. There's the one where one character really likes this girl, but the other one just doesn't see it. So it's that kind of unrequited love. Like he really likes her, but she just does not understand that he likes her and doesn't know why he would like her until like the very end. Which that was probably the saddest, but I love it because it actually ends. That's the one that ends the show, and it's on a good note because they actually do end up getting together. And I love this too because I love their designs. They're just so adorable together. There's that one. There's the one with. It's a character that looks like a male Suya, who
From
his thing was
My Hero?
Yeah, it's like a male version of Suya, kind of like the big eyes and everything, the same hair color. His thing started because he rides the bus or train with the same girl. Like it's a crowded bus. He saves her from a groper, so she ends up like inviting him out to the movies or something, or dinner as like repayment for that. She also likes him, but both of them never got the courage to ask each other. So he actually breaks plans with his best friend for this, but doesn't tell him that's for a date because he's much like the one guy from prison school, he's like, women cannot come between bros, kind of thing.
He's one of those bros.
Until he learns that it is for that, and he's like, "You are an idiot. Go love this woman." Because later, like
best friend gets like the best character.
Oh no, the best friend, and yeah, like he looks like the guy from like after the guy from prison school cut his hair, he looks like him, glasses and everything. So like one day, the character invites him to behind the school, and it's the one girl giving the guy that she likes like muffins or cupcakes or something. But he invited the friend because he felt nervous about being behind the school with her. So she's just like, "Oh, I'm sorry. It's like I didn't bring enough for you, but here you can have some." And he's like, "No, you brought this for him. It's perfectly fine." And the main character's like, "No, dude, just like take these." He's like, "You fool! She went out of her way to make these cupcakes for you, and you will accept them." And then he just like he plays it off like, oh god, what was it? He just plays off like he's just like upset and leaving and trying to leave them time alone together. Like he's the best friend that this person could possibly have. He's just like, no, go love her, you idiot. She clearly likes you and you like her. Just let this thing happen. Leave me out of this.
Kind of reminds me of that one relationship from or how the MMO Junkie worked. How he was like just trying to set them up the entire time.
Yeah, he's kind of like that. And then there. Let's see, is there any other ones I'm missing? Oh, there's just a adorable one. Like it's probably one of the more normal ones. It's like it's through misunderstanding they figure out that they like each other, but the one guy is kind of bad with emotions. So it's just him slowly developing like actual emotions for this person and trying to understand her.
Like robot-like emotions, or is he just an idiot when it comes to?
A little bit. Like they end up with misunderstandings a lot.
That a little bit doesn't like answer my question.
Hold on. So
a little bit in which direction? Robot or not understanding?
At first, robot, and then it's a bit more understanding. Like he learns, but he doesn't quite get it all the way until towards the end.
Ah, okay.
So like, the first thing, like when she basically confesses that she likes him, is like, she did something silly. Like, oh, she said that she lost her contact, but I don't think she wears contacts. So he's trying to help her find it, and she just ends up crying. He's like, "Oh no, it's fine. You're." It's like we'll find your contact, but it's because she basically said that she liked him, but he didn't. He didn't say that I like you back. He misinterpreted it.
It's one of those like I like you. It's like, oh yeah, you're pretty cool too.
Yeah, and then later on, like he kind of distances. Like after they started dating, he kind of like distances himself from her slightly because he doesn't want to move too fast, but he doesn't know how to say that to her. So he just kind of puts a lot of space between them. Yeah, like he tries his best, but he just cannot understand at times. And it's funny because their first kiss, she coughs during it, and then she just starts panicking about that the whole time. She's like, "Who coughs during their first kiss? Like, why did this have to happen?"
Well, I love when they do that in like when people have their first kiss and somebody either like throws up or coughs or sneezes or some dumb shit that just ruins it. It's always so funny.
Oh, no, probably the funniest one is the couple that had been like dating but not dating for a year, when they actually start trying to like do it because they're like, well, we need to do something. So why don't we do it? Like they finally get onto the bed, and as soon as they start, like the mom of the guy walks in. And is like, "Oh hey, I made you guys cookie. I'm just gonna set this right here and close the door. Honey, don't go upstairs."
I mean, at least they're cool with it.
And then she comes back in. It's like then she comes back in after she's already ruined the moment. It's like, "Do you two need protection?" Mom. And then one last one is just there's an entire little subplot against a girl that actually hold on. There's this whole subplot about this guy who calls himself the dating master.
Oh.
Yeah, like he shows up for like two different people. One is a girl got rejected by the person that she liked, so he's just trying to give her advice and build up her self-confidence. But by doing so, she just ends up beating the crap out of him. Because she's tired of like the way he's talking, just like making her feel like better, but still kind of meh. And just the final scene with that is just her like off screen, and then you just see a shadow on his face as she's drop kicking him. Probably one of the best drop kicks
I think I've
seen
seen
in
that
anime.
actually. Now that you say that,
Yeah.
sounds very familiar.
But then the other part of his whole thing, because he helps some of the characters out. He's like, I'm the dating master. Cupid is. It's like my goal is to find Cupid and beat the crap out of him because he's cursed me with girls constantly being flocked to me. And one girl is actually, flocking to him because he saves a kitten out of a tree. So she's like, "Oh, who are you, brave and mysterious man?" He's like, "I am the dating master, but you shouldn't get too close, kitten, because if you get close, you might get burned." He's like, "No, I love you." So she climbs up in a tree. He's like, "All right, fine. If you won't call me a kitten, then help me out of this tree." She climbed back in the tree. And, like, he does save her because the branch breaks, and then she tries to catch him, but he "Oh, you fell for." It's like, "You fell for my illusion or something," and he's on the other side of the yard. Like, he has anime teleportation powers. He's like, "Oh, you only caught the echo of my love," or something like that. Oh, guy's crazy, and I love it.
Let's transition on over to we can do MMO Junkie next. Give me
Oh yeah,
something
that's
to talk
something that we
about.
all can talk about.
Yeah, we all can talk
Muddy,
shit about
muddy.
that. Muddy. God. Fucking, I love the dub so much for that, just because the characters actually seem like they're having a good time recording their lines.
Yeah.
But they probably have one of my favorite examples of how, not necessarily how MMOs work, but how they behave in the real world and the game world too. You can kind of tell certain characters okay, yeah, no, you're obviously this character before they reveal it. Plus, I love how just they handle the game world. I don't remember if we talked about this, how if Japan is actually that private about their real world identities. Because, I mean, in America, if you meet somebody online, you'd be like, "Hey, cool, what's your Discord, or what's fucking a way I can get a hold of you in real life so we can play more often?"
Let me slide into those DMs.
But, I mean, they do not do that. They talk for, what, a year or some shit?
It's a very long period of time in that.
Yeah.
I love. I feel like MMO Junkie is out of any MMO based anime I've seen, understands how MMOs work the most. No joke. Encapsulates how MMOs truly work.
Oh god,
when
yeah.
the character's AFK and they put salads around her.
And then they ask why are you doing that? And they're just I don't know, it's just kind of a thing we do.
Yeah, I was like, that's so true to form. That, I was like, you can tell that whoever made this probably has played a lot of MMO.
Oh god, it was so good. Or when the guy made the super buff lady character, you never see MMOs that have wacky characters like that.
Yeah.
Because there's always somebody that does that, me being one of those people. But
You're probably, I guess, talking about the plot of the show. So we just went straight to how the MMO works.
well, yeah, but
I mean, it is a
it's-
major part of it.
yeah, I mean, it's MMO Junkie is quite literally the title. Well, what recovery of an MMO
It's-
Junkie.
Yeah, I would say it's one of many because it's one of those shows that it has a lot of different titles.
Yeah, it's the official title's really long, so it's just they shorten it down. But I really appreciate how the series essentially ends with them being together, and then there's 2 OVAs after that, which just shows them in
It's
a
like
relationship.
one, but it's got 2. Yeah,
Yeah,
the start of it.
and I really love that because you almost never see that in at least the 2 romance animes I've watched.
Where you get a little bit of the follow up.
Yeah, and then that's about it. You never really see them just going out and buying shit or moving in together. But I really love the character designs. Are very unique. Even though the guy's kind of boring, he still has a lot of unique traits about him, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then the best friend just trying to set him up the entire time is really funny.
I love Kawaii.
Kawaii's bro. The truest anime bro of all time.
Damn right he is. Get you a friend
Still
like
think-
Kawaii.
There you go.
No, go ahead with what you were saying. Sorry.
I was saying, I still think the Morioka still probably has one of my favorite designs for a female character.
Yeah, just Christmas cake, tired ant vibe.
Yeah. I don't know, is it just me? I prefer her with long hair.
Yeah, same here. Because you don't... For some reason, I don't know, recently they've seemed like they're going towards shorter hair in a lot of animes.
Though I had to say probably the best look is it's in the... Oh, God, I think it's in the outro. There's a part where she's like looking... Because the outro takes place from like her computer screen. Like it's a weird reflection on her computer screen. And there's a part where like she's getting dressed and she like is hovering over the mouse to close it. That look that she has there is probably my favorite look of the whole show, but they never use it in the actual show. Aside from the outro, I'm like...
It's funny, you know, I always thought like, if I weren't me and I have a friend that this applies to, where it's like, oh yeah, you know, you're playing an online game with somebody that lives right down the road from you, you know, without like actively seeking it out, I would always think like, it's impossible, but I actually have a friend that lived an hour away from me that I met online, just happenstance. So I find that cool, very impractical, but very cool at the same time.
Actually, one of my bringing this up, like one of my friends who they're actually married and they have kids now, they met through MMOs.
Huh.
They lived in 2 different states and they met through MMOs, and they're now married with kids and living a happy life.
It's the beautiful power of the internet, people.
Mm-hmm.
But oh man, something else that I did actually I loved, and it's very subtle because they don't ever bring it up, but the like wristband things that they wear throughout the entire show.
Oh yeah, the ones that the 2 main characters share.
Yeah, the ones that they get in the first dungeon that they did together, and they both say, "Yeah, we're never gonna take them off." They don't, and I love that.
Yeah. You know what I actually do like about how the format of the show went? I love that they put the Christmas episode first.
Was that like the first episode?
It is. It's the very end of the first episode, but the first episode, at the end of it, it's the Christmas episode.
Huh.
Because it's literally them getting gifts for each other for Christmas.
Oh yeah, her going out and buying the shit.
Yeah, I've never seen that before where they put the Christmas episode first. Or the holiday episode, but you know, they call it Christmas in the show, so.
That actually probably gives me the like closest feeling of like a warm home kind of feel when it comes to anime, if that makes sense.
Is holiday in the anime?
Well, no, I mean like because you know how a lot of the time, like when they, you know, when you come inside from a cold day, I don't know if you guys can actually relate to this, but like your home is nice and warm, and you know you get to take off most of your like 5,000 layers, and you just get to relax. Like I actually felt something along those lines when I was watching this. Like I felt that it was really cold there. I felt that it was really warm in the house.
Yeah. Yeah, I love when animes can have that feeling, because like I think we talked about in like our favorite anime, like that's one of the things I look for, is something that I can get emotionally invested in, and this was definitely one of those that I got emotionally invested in.
Yeah, it really helped me too, because I spaced my watching period out, because I always like if I binge watch something, it's very forgettable for me, but I purposely spaced it out so I'd remember it better.
Yeah,
I'm glad I did. It's probably still one of my favorites.
I mean, I love the characters. Just Morioka and her million fucking weird reactions to stuff. Like, she's just so expressive and weird.
yeah.
Like, she's just like a really weird and awkward, and I love her. And then fucking Sakurai's top tier husbando.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I just love it because she's like, you know, I was successful in the business world, but then I quit my job and just became a NEET.
Yeah, I love that you use that kind of terminology too, which is just fucking great. Like you could tell this person that wrote this is very informed about the information that he's presenting.
Yeah. Plus, I love the voice actress for the dub. She's great.
I'd really love a second season about like the 2 characters that were like hinting at getting into a relationship, you know.
Oh, the cat girl and the store.
The store manager guy. Yeah. I don't know if he's a manager, but store worker.
No, he was just employee. Yeah, it makes me really want to read the manga because I want to learn more about that.
Do you learn more about that in the manga?
Possibly. I imagine there's more to the manga than there is the anime.
I don't know. I'm not a manga
Actually, I don't
kind
know
of
if this
guy.
has a manga. I gotta find it. But like, yeah, because this is like they touch on it for like an episode, where they go kind of in depth about like those two a bit more because it's the loot box episode
Yeah.
where she's just like, oh, I got all this nice stuff, and the story manager's like, yeah, I kind of like your. It's like I like all your normal stuff better. It suits you a lot better, and she's just like, and immediately changes back to her old stuff. Yeah, because I think with her, like it's the cat girl looking one. Like she's a college student
Yeah.
who just
something
really
along
likes
those lines.
the leader of the guild, who is the clerk at a store that the main character actually goes to quite frequently because it's where she gets her membership cards for the MMO and food.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like her being down the street from like two characters is a bit much. One is like a little more understandable, but
Well, it's mostly just him. Like Sakurai is actually like more of a distance away, but
he?
it's Japan where like everybody's like a train ride away.
That's true.
Yeah.
I always forget how small Japan actually is, especially
Yeah,
considering like it's all cities and then nothing.
yeah. Until you get to like the islands and stuff, then everything's very close. But even the islands are longer to get to, but they're still relatively close.
I'm telling
You
you.
guys
Though. No, go ahead.
Nah, you say first.
I was just gonna say, if we ever go to Japan, we gotta film in that one room by the pool.
Oh yeah, the pool.
Pull a Nick Robinson, get a flight to Japan, just book a it's like hour at the pool and record a podcast.
But I just had to talk about I love just the visuals of the opening of this anime. Like, it's not a lot of openings that I can just like remark on how much I just love the visuals, but this is one of them because I love its like kind of use of reflections where like it's like her running, and then every reflective surface she passes shows a different character.
Yeah,
And they do that so well too.
I think your mind's favorite one is it's the pole with like the two mirrors on it that like are supposed to give you a chance to look at angles, and it's the one. It's like Kaiko Eyes, like buff girl character that he made running at it, and then comes out on the other side.
The other way around.
Is it the other way around?
Yeah, it is the other way around because you don't see
That's
that from the front.
Yeah, that's why I love it because they never they include her in the opening, but they never spoil her, so they don't ruin the joke of it.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's like my favorite joke in the entire show.
But that shot looks so good. Yeah, it's like he's running towards it, then she passes by the screen, and then the other character's running away. And I was like, why does that shot look so good though?
Yeah. Actually, yeah, now that I think about it, like, this is one of those animes that it has a very, like, visually, it has a very good opening and ending, because I like the use of reflections, like you were saying. Because in the ending, it's the reflection off the computer screen of just her, like, looks like reacting to getting a date or something. There's a little the part where she has, like, her giant cat body pillow, and she's just, like, spinning it around
I love
out
that
of
cat
happiness.
body pillow.
Oh, I love that thing.
So dumb. Oh god. Yeah, highly recommended. Go check it out if you haven't, for fuck's sake. It's so good.
Oh, and Kawaii obsession with hamburgers.
Is he obsessed with hamburgers? I don't remember that.
Everything he has had hamburgers on it.
Oh god, you're right, the pillow, yeah.
The pillow that was just a hamburger. I also love the Kawaii date and how he basically sets up her and Sakurai to meet. Because he like once worked not with her, but like she like when she was still working, she like called him for advice or something because he was like a manager at her company. So he got to know her there, and then went to another company, and she quit. But then, like, when he figured out who she was, she's like, "Oh, it's Mori Mori."
Yeah, buddy.
Because her name is just Morioka. It's like, yes, no, my parents named me that.
Yeah, I love it. She's like kind of ashamed of her name, and it's kind of funny.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, her nearly irrational, just like awkwardness it's just amazing in the show, and it's weirdly realistic. Like, it's over the top, but I can relate to it.
This is kind of a really weird thing, but I guess there's a really awkward relationship in Ergo Proxy between like the two main characters. Because like the whole show, he's like super in love with her, and she's just like, get the fuck out of here, I don't like you. But then like just they kind of like a road trip thing for a while, and you could just kind of tell that more and more she's like kind of into him. And then there's this awkward scene where like they do like the anime thing where they trip and fall and he lands on top of her. And she has this gun that can just kill him instantly, like wherever she shoots him. And it's like just out of her reach, and I think she like stops going for it because she's like, all right, you know what, probably just an accident, I don't need to kill him, you know, because before she's like, I will shoot you right fucking now, do not make me. But it was kind of a nice but weird thing of the showing like their progress. But at the very end they end up getting together, and it's kind of weird because it almost doesn't feel like it needs to be that way. Because I always hate forced love plots, but they don't, it's not too heavy, which I appreciate. It's just that very end scene when they're just like, hey, yeah, you're not so bad.
There is one thing with MMO Junkie that I do find weird, that it's the, they used to know each other, but they just didn't know each other kind of thing.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was weird. I still like it. I still love the show, don't get me wrong, but that's the only plot point that's like,
well, I mean, it was obviously set up for that last bit.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the only one that like, it's almost tropey.
It's very tropey.
But I like it. It still works. Oh god, and then the entire scene where she's in his apartment is gold. Like that whole episode, just the palpable awkwardness.
I brought a girl into my apartment, what am I thinking?
And then although my favorite line is him just like in his head, he's like, man, thank god for extra large sweaters. Like she's so adorable. Or like for extra large hoodies, he's like, oh, she just looks so adorable.
Well, Zach, did you have one? I forget.
One.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, just one. But do you have a one you would like to talk about for a bit?
I'll let you guys pick. Should I talk about Momokiri or Toradora?
I know neither of these, so I'm gonna go with Toradora.
Same.
All right. It's a more popular one. Toradora is actually like super popular. That's like probably one of the highest rated romance animes.
I've only seen a tiny bit. Like I haven't watched the show, but I've seen the art. I do like the art style for it. I love how the main character looks, because I know you recommended it to me.
Yeah, the main character has a really interesting design. Just a quick plot synopsis. It's like this guy named Ryuji who kind of lives a very poor lifestyle. He takes with his mom. He takes care of all the housework and stuff. Like that's the whole thing. He's like obsessed with cleaning and he cooks and stuff. But he looks really scary because he's like really tall and he has like very sharp eyes. So like everybody's scared of him and thinks that he's a delinquent, but he's actually like a really nice guy. And then he ends up running into Isaka Taiga, who is the palm top tiger because of her really small size, but her massive ferocity. She will just beat the crap out of anybody.
I like their name though.
Yeah, the palm top tiger. It's a great one. Also, both of their names it all comes back down to like the animal theming. Like Toradora is like, I think it means something like tiger dragon, and Ryuji means dragon, Taiga means tiger. So like it always relates to the theming of tigers and dragons.
That explains a lot actually, because there's a character in Bleach whose Bankai is Ryujin Jaka. I just always thought that name was cool and I never knew what it means, but now it makes a bit more sense.
But so Ryuji and Taiga are both in love with each other's best friends, so they kind of reluctantly agree to help each other. But obviously we know that doesn't if you know how romance animes work, obviously that doesn't last forever, and eventually it starts to edge more into them liking each other, though Taiga ends up falling in love with Ryuji before he does her.
Interesting. Usually it's the other way around. In my head, at least.
I mean, a lot of time it's the girl first.
Is it?
Yeah, which gets, I don't know, which reminds me of a anime that really pissed me off, because it's called, was it?
Clan
First,
After Story.
not first, it was like My Little Monster or something, where it started off really interesting because the guy was in love with the girl, but she wasn't interested, and then they flip the roles, and then the anime becomes really uninteresting.
The moment you get rid of the thing that makes you interesting, you're done.
Yeah, I was like, no, keep it the guy liking the girl and she's not interested. Like, that's a million times more interesting. I love Toradora. It's kind of like a classic romance anime. I like the animation because it's a little bit older, like kind of mid 2000s, so it kind of has like that look to it. And also Taiga's voiced by my favorite voice actress, Rie Kugamiya, who is the queen of tsunderes.
I take it she does a lot of them.
Yeah, like that's her. That's like what she's known for, is being like voicing some of the most famous tsunderes. Like, what's that one anime? Camphor. You ever seen Camphor?
I don't think so.
It's like it's like this anime about this guy who like turns into like a girl or whatever, like with powers and stuff. But there's like a joke in that where all of the stuffed animals are voiced by like popular voice actors, and like in narrative they sound like those voice actors. And in the OVA there's a bunny that's voiced by Rie Kugamiya, and there's a part where she acts really tsundere and she's like, it's just like her.
That's funny.
I love Rie Kugamiya, just all of her tsundere roles except for Shauna. Fuck Shauna in particular.
Why do you not like Shauna?
God, I hate the character Shauna from Shakugan no Shauna. Mostly, sad to say, probably because of Rie. I feel like Rie ruined that character with her. I think she voice acted that character really badly.
Oof.
But getting back to Toradora, it's got a lot of really great moments. Like, it has one of my favorite fight scenes in any anime, where like Taiga just challenges this one girl to a fight, and like they just both pull out freaking like they're fighting with like kendo sticks, and she like runs across all the desks.
Nice.
And the animation and the music in that scene is so good. I wish I could find it. Like, it gets removed from YouTube a lot, so it's always hard to find.
Does it do that thing where it switches styles for that fight, or is that just how it is?
It doesn't really switch styles, but like the animation just looks incredibly like more like better than usual.
It's very fluid.
Like the facial expressions are really good in that scene. And probably my favorite scene in the whole anime is like when you first realize that Taiga is actually in love with Ryuji. It's like there's a scene where he gets knocked out in the pool and like he almost drowns. So they pull him out and he wakes up, and they're like the whole class is surrounded him, and then Taiga's like sitting on his chest. And like no one notices that he's awake yet, and she's just screaming at everybody to get away from him because he's hers.
Jeez.
Yeah, and like that's the scene where you finally realize, like, oh, she's just in love with him. Like she's not into his best friend anymore. She's into him.
You see this penis? It's mine.
It's mine.
Sounds interesting. If you're done, I do have something else that would be fairly interesting to talk about.
Yeah, you can go.
I want to talk about how shitty Korra does relationships, and then how it improves upon that.
Hey, let's talk about Avatar again.
Well, no, just the relationships, nothing else. I don't want to bring up anything else right now, but I despise the first season's love triangle bullshit plot because it felt so shoehorned in there.
Oh, okay, so we're just talking about Korra. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, unless you want to talk about fucking
No,
the
that's not.
bossing say lover things from the original Avatar.
That's not. Listen, the only relationship I still like from original Avatar is Zuko and Jin, and that never happened, so... Oh well.
Jin who?
She's from the Earth Kingdom. She's the girl that he kind of likes, goes on a date with.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. But that doesn't happen, so...
Yeah, sad.
Yeah.
No, but,
Yeah, no, the love triangle in season 1, or in book 1 is... Oh.
yeah, because it's like... What, Mako and Korra, Mako and Asami, Bolin and Korra, question mark?
Well, no, it originally starts off with Bolin liking Korra, but then Korra likes Mako.
Yeah.
So... And then
It's
it's
just not-
Mako then likes Asami, and it's like...
I don't like why that was just thrown in there, because it didn't feel natural at all. Like, in the original series, you kind of got why Aang ended up falling for Korra, or Katara, and not Korra. That'd be weird. But then like they transitioned into like a really nice relationship between Sami and Korra, which I actually appreciated oddly enough, and I wasn't expecting to like that part as much as I did. Because in my opinion, that's how I feel you really should write something where romance is not the main objective. Is you should go about it where it is subtle and there's hints there, but that's not the main focus. They're accomplishing other goals on top of building the relationship, not just like, hey, let's go on a date for some fucking reason. It's like, no, we should probably go do this thing to improve upon a later thing. And it's like, okay, that makes a bit more sense. Like Korra learning how to drive. That made sense because she had to go drive.
Yeah.
But what were you saying?
So you like the slow, subtle build.
Yeah, I mean, because I hate when they just drop it. I mean, this goes for any show, any book, anything like that, where romance just gets dropped in there out of nowhere. I hate that, because it always feels wrong. Because you're just like, these characters don't have chemistry, question mark?
Mm-hmm. I don't know, like... In this goes beyond anime into just, normal shows. Like, I don't know how many shows that they put out that are female lead, male lead. Two don't like each other in like very opposite ends of the spectrums. Both have jobs to do. By like the 5th season or something, they jump the shark and they get together. How many times has that happened in just normal television shows?
Quite a bit. I can't pinpoint anything, but quite a bit.
Yeah, like nearly everyone that has that kind of setup, that happens. That eventually, or by the end of the season, or the show, the main characters get together for some reason. Whether it's been a slow, subtle build, or it's just out of nowhere, or something like that, or they just don't seem like they're the people that should be together. More often than not, the main characters end up getting together. I don't know why that's a thing. Like, I can get it, I can understand it, but overall, I don't get why that has to be the commonplace thing, I guess. Like, why it occurs so much. Like, the whole opposites attract kind of thing. Like,
well, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of shows which, like, they do better because they don't have romance in them.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, I'm going to bring this up, and I know Zach's going to not like it, but Bantora... I don't think they have any like relationship plot whatsoever, and I feel like it benefits from that. Because if you had, I mean, they did
no plot, but there's hints at ones.
Well, no, because there was
at least of people liking each other.
There was what's his face, the 2-second guy when the
Matalast.
Yeah, Matalast and what's her face had a relationship. They like talk about that, but that was about it.
No,
and I guess the one girl and the main villain guy. I'm being really descriptive here, aren't I? But.
I like how I remember the names and I refuse to watch the show.
Yeah. But, like, I appreciate how, with that aspect, they don't like shoehorn romance in there in the last second. It's like, no, they're just fighting because this is what they have to do, not because their loved one is in danger.
Yeah.
Although now that I really think about it, the whole reason why the main villain exists is because his love of his life dies. Alright, maybe I need to rethink my argument.
I mean, to be fair, for a lot of things in just our lives and everything, love and romance is something that it's a catalyst for other things. How many songs are about love of some form? Whether it's in love, being in love, falling out of love, like that is just
Taylor Swift.
Weirdly enough, a lot of rap songs, just music in general. Like you can sum up a lot of things just by it is the main genre of it is love. There's so many songs that are like that.
I mean,
there's infinite number of songs.
There's that whole argument about human nature is just to reproduce, therefore it's a very like barbaric way of looking at it, but it's like your whole reason for existing is to reproduce, so you're designed to do that.
Yeah.
Which I disagree with nowadays, because it is very... We've advanced as a society beyond that point,
it's
so...
very archaic.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds very archaic. But, like it is just crazy how many things, like, in shows and like shows and music, it's just like how much like romance and love and stuff like that just are the focus of stuff.
Yeah.
Or have become the focus of that.
Well, I don't know. Do you see that as a problem or as more of a...
Not a problem, but it's just like... Honestly, it's a case-by-case basis. Some things it works, some things it doesn't.
I mean, because like...
said, some things are thrown at the wall and it doesn't make sense. Others, they're handled very well and they turn out great.
Because, I mean, bringing it back to like anime, that's probably one of the biggest plot points in any anime ever, is just the romance point.
Yeah.
And it might be because Japan's really stunted when it comes to male social lives and shit like that, so that might be what it is, but...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, romance is definitely one of the big genres that pops up a lot. Yeah, I mean, you even find romance in like animes that aren't even tagged as romance. Like two of my favorite animes, Working and Servant X Service, like draw heavy attention to like romantic subplots, but like it's not like tagged as romance. But like the romance is a pretty good part of it.
Something I'm interested in seeing, because I don't actually know a whole lot about this, but it's the relationship between Kazuma and Megumi that's going to form in Konosuba.
Yeah, in Konosuba.
Because like he has kind of a harem. I mean, it's
kind of,
it's kind of, it's a weird circumstance harem, but it is in a way a harem. But then like
it's kind of like High School DxD line, where it's like it can be there, but not entirely.
But then like he ends up getting together with Megumi, and I'm interested to see how that relationship forms, because I don't actually know anything about that aside from that point.
Yeah, I was like, I'm so tempted to read the book just to read about that, because I know that because I know that's going to happen. Like I've heard about it, so like I kind of want to read. And it was like the anime doesn't like. Hopefully we see it like later and more of the anime stuff, but like the anime doesn't draw too much attention to that, except for like one scene where like Megumi's the most evidently like it was like the most obviously angry when Cosmo's like, yeah, I'll just die now. Like Megumi was just pissed. Like you could tell she was really mad about that. And I was like, I thought that was really interesting at the time. I was like, why was Megumi so like mad? And then like when I read what happens later in the book, I'm like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense why.
Yeah.
And then I haven't seen the movie yet, but I've seen screen caps of Megumi and Cosmo hanging out with like a little kid. So like I'm interested in seeing like maybe they're gonna take like a parental role in the movie. And I was like, oh, I have to see this.
I forgot that they had a movie.
Yeah, if it hasn't been subbed yet, then it must be pretty soon, because that came out a while ago in Japan.
Yeah. So I know we talked about this in. I know we talked about this at some point, like, you know, this genre idea and everything, and how like romance a lot of the time is like a sub genre to a lot of the other ones. I think that may actually where my issue lies, because, you know how I say like a lot of things are tropish or it's used a lot, but to be fair, I mean, romance, yeah, is kind of, it's an easy, not an easy angle, but it's an angle that can be put in anything. So I think it may just be, at least for me, maybe just like saturation of the market, more or less.
Yeah.
Like, you see so much of it that like all of it just almost becomes like tropes, or all just seems the same.
Another good example, I just thought about this. I'm glad they didn't put it in, because I feel like it would just be tropey, and it'd be Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
it'd be so tropey if that was the case.
Yeah, just like him and Faye at the end.
I mean,
but nope, he dies.
You know what I'd really like to see, though, in something like Cowboy Bebop? They don't have a love for each other, they just have a lust for each other. Like, they don't want a relationship, they just want to fuck.
Well, it's interesting because, like, then you have shows like Kill la Kill. Nothing about that until, like, the last, like, what, 30 seconds? Where it's just, like, Mako saying that she wants to take Ruku out on a date. Like, literally, there is nothing about, like, any relationships that are, like, that
Did you really
way.
say that at the last couple seconds? I don't remember that.
In the dub, yes. Yeah.
Huh.
In the dub, yeah. But it's just, like, nothing like that is mentioned at all. Like, it's been very, like, serious, quote-unquote, for Kill la Kill. And, like, no romance, no anything, until, like, the last 30 seconds, it's just like, oh, okay, then. Well,
I don't remember. Is Gamagori and, what's-her-face, is that canon in any way?
I don't think so.
Or is that just fans really liking those two together?
I think it's more that one. Literally, like you said, it's Monkancho at the end saying that she wants to take Ruku on a date, so it would probably be difficult then.
I mean, not possible, question mark?
No, but I mean, that's limited amount of time, probably, but yeah.
So Zach, you might need to
after.
help me out on this one, because I'm actually genuinely trying to remember. In The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, does the main character ever have feelings for Haruhi beyond friendship? I think he does, right? Or is it just friendship? Because I know that he, like, really likes her, but I can't remember if it's just, like, a friendship kind of like.
I don't know. It's a weird one. Just like, because I almost called Kazuma. Kion's obviously like into Kazuma. Kion. Yes, But like obviously, like towards the beginning, Kion's like more interested in the time travel girl, and it's like, I don't know. I'm not really sure if Kion like ever like really has like feelings for her.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, I'm really thinking about it now. It's just a lot of like almost feelings.
Like I don't know. I think like the book went farther than the anime, so maybe the book has like more into that. Like, I imagine eventually they would end up, but it's like, yeah, I mean, the anime didn't really establish like much of a love, like Kion liking her, because obviously she likes him.
Yeah.
I liked the weird spin-off of Haruhi Suzumiya. It was like the disappearance of fucking whatever the alien girl's name was. Like they had a weird spin-off that like it was pretty much just a romance anime. Like it was just kind of like they both had feelings over each other. Like it really felt like Kiona liked her back.
Was that like a full-blown series, or was that just a movie?
Yeah, it was a full-blown series, because there's the disappearance of Haruhi, which is the movie, and then there's the disappearance of Nagito, which is the show, which is kind of kind of based on that world that was set up in the movie.
God, the goddamn like timeline for Haruhi, even like watching the anime, there's like 5 different fucking things you gotta watch out for.
Yeah.
And like they're all disconnected but connected, and it's really weird.
Everything goes back to that night where she made the freaking crop circles. Goddamn.
Oh god, I forgot about that.
Oh god, cause like they're like I don't know. I don't want to get too much into it, but it's like they're sleeping in the room while like him and the time travel girl are sleeping in the room while they're also in the living room at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know. But alright. Oh, I'm gonna move on. There's one topic I thought it'd be interesting to talk about, and it's like a rarity which I wish we could see more. I can only think of like maybe 3 animes that have done this, and that's when the relationship between the two, like obviously like love interests, like are set up like early on, like they end up together like early on in the series, so then the majority of the series is their relationship itself.
Yeah, I really can't think of any animes like that.
Yeah,
actually.
I was gonna say I honestly probably would like that better, because like what I was talking about like earlier is like some like I know like in American like TV shows, like stuff like Bones and House and stuff, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, the show really jumped the shark after like X and X character got together, like the 2 main characters got together. Usually I agree, but I feel like if the show starts off with that, then
Well, yeah, because if you do it in the midway through the season, it feels like, well, you don't really know what you are. But if you do it in the beginning, it'd be like, well, cool, this isn't a romance anime, this is a relationship anime, you know?
yeah, like I can see where that's a double-edged sword, because like, well, we know nothing about these characters, why are they together? But we get to be for that journey of figuring out why. Or it's, we get to see the characters before they start a relationship and get to see the build-up to that, although sometimes that can be, why are these 2 characters together? They're like complete opposites. Why do they even like each other, kind of thing.
Hey, Zach. Is there an anime about a guy that just goes on Tinder dates?
No.
There should be. I feel like they'd make an interesting episodic anime, just like every episode, just him going on a different date with some fucking either insane person or somebody he likes.
Yeah, I do want to see more of the relationship established early, because like there are like 3 I can think of that are like some of my favorites because they focus more on the relationship and like obviously the hardships that come, like the awkwardness and hardships of being in a relationship. And it's I think First Love Story, I think it was the name of that. The one that I mentioned early, Momokyuri, both of those, they establish pretty early the relationship. And then Venus to Mamoru, which literally starts like with it, like the first like 5 minutes, so like the 2 characters see each other for the first time. The girl's like, go out with me. And it's like, okay.
Also, one quick second hot take for the anime that we were making. That's one of the side characters that comes into the bar all the time.
What, just
He's
guy
on
that goes on Tinder dates all the time?
Yeah, but he always goes to the bar where we have the I don't come here for drinks, I come here for advice.
Yeah.
That's just one of the sub characters, and he gets a couple episodes every now and then.
Or no, they make a spin-off anime about that guy, and he just goes into that bar every now and then.
Yes.
We need to have a whole setup universe for this.
Oh my god. Alright, we need to mark that down later. We're creating it. We're not only making anime now, we're making an anime universe.
Hell yeah. School Rumble's also a really good romance comedy anime. I don't remember a whole lot of it because I watched it fucking years ago. But I remember I really liked the dynamic between the characters. And there's like this one character who's like trying to be cool all the fucking time, and he's always wearing sunglasses no matter what he's doing.
It's the middle of the night, yeah?
Yeah, no, seriously, he'll be asleep and he'll be wearing the sunglasses.
I like that.
Oh,
Dedication.
God. They have like a really funny bathhouse episode where like, because the main character kind of had like the main dude kind of has like some longer hair, and he's like facing the wall away from the door, and this girl walks in, She's like, "Oh, hey, so and so," and I think he like fell asleep, so like he didn't hear her come in. She's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna shower. Hope you don't mind." Blah blah blah. And so he's like panicking, trying to figure out like what the fuck to do. And so he just makes he just takes like a towel and gets a bunch of air and pushes it underwater and makes it seem like he farts. And so she's just like, "All right, I'm gonna go." Fucking, I think like he later comes out and the main girl that has a crush on him is like, "Yo, what were you doing in there? My sister was just in there." And he's like, "I don't want to talk about it." And then it just gets really awkward from that point. Really good anime though. I'd recommend it. There's also a thing with like a giant rice cooker pan, a giant wok, I think, that they use for a sled at some point.
Yeah, I mean, walks can get up to that big. I've seen pretty big walks.
Yeah. It's a good anime. It's older. Art style's very unique, but it's good.
Yeah, School Rumble's definitely one that's I've been wanting to watch for like a long time. I was waiting for a good moment to do it.
Oh, there's one character that looks really different in School Rumble. Like all the female characters look kind of similar, but there's one like character who's just, I guess it's because their eyes are a different color, but they're a lot lighter, and she just looks like a slightly different art style. And it's kind of off-putting, but it's not bad.
I don't know. I like things like that. Like that one I mentioned earlier. Was it my love story Ore Monogatari? The whole anime is just about how the main dude looks like a freaking like gorilla man.
Oh yeah.
Like,
oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that anime so much. Just because like the girl's kind of like normal looking, but he's giant, has like a weird face. Like he just isn't attractive at all. But we get this adorable relationship. Oh yeah, I remember I talked about Ore Monogatari in our side characters one.
Yeah, you did.
Yes.
So that was the best friend from Ore Monogatari.
Oh, I'm actually really sad now. I just remembered an anime that I wanted to watch before this, but I couldn't remember what it was. And it's the Zach. You'll know this because I think you recommended it to me. It's The Office. It's the one with it's the romance anime where it's two of the characters like hang out and they play Monster Hunter, but they're both office workers.
Oh yeah. What was it?
Is it actually Monster Hunter, or is it?
Yes, it is actually Monster Hunter. They get actual Monster Hunter footage.
They show real Monster Hunter footage. Yeah, love is hard for an otaku.
Yes.
What a name.
I'm so sad. It has one of my favorite openings. It's called Fiction, and I love it. It is. I play it. It's a song that I have not gotten tired of yet. Let's put it like that. I get tired of music kind of quickly sometimes. I never get tired of that song. Yeah,
but both the opening and ending songs are really good. But the opening definitely like has a million points just because of the dance for like all the characters are doing like.
I forgot about that.
I did that every episode. Every episode I watched of that, I did the dance with them.
It's so good. I forgot about the visuals of that opening. Like I was just going off the music, but yeah, the visuals of the opening are just really good.
We just need more good dances and openings. I mean, we got Easy Breezy this season.
Is that the one with the weird poses?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's kind of a meme right now, but
yeah, I love the art meme that's come out of that.
Kind of a weird one, because this is such a weird version of a romance thing. It's in another. Because like,
okay,
yeah, no, it's really weird because it kind of comes up, but there's no resolution to it, and there's no like, he never comes forward. Like he just kind of has feelings for her, and she kind of has feelings from him. Which, I mean, it's good because, like, you know, that's not the fucking point. There's people dying and they're trying to figure that out. But it brings me back to that one really weird scene of them dancing in class. That's why you guys reminded me of that. It's because of the fucking dancing thing. But yeah, like, it's so weird to me that they never capitalize on that despite bringing it up. Because I can't really think of another anime that does that where they like fuck up the what's it called, gun, the Chekhov's gun. Still sitting on the wall to this day.
So, I have a question for you guys, because we're on the topic of romance, and I've been going back and forth on like my stance on it. So, in a show, it's like talk hypotheticals. Would you rather have a show that they don't focus on romance at all between like main characters? Let's just stick with main characters for this. Would you rather have it where they have nothing to do with each other romantically like that, or would oh no, I forgot what my other one was. I had an idea for this and I lost it.
When you say that there's no romance, you're saying there's a male lead and a female lead, or there's two leads essentially. It doesn't have to be male or female.
Yeah.
Let's
just say there's leads. Yeah. There's leads, but they don't, not that they hate each other, but that they're not romantically interested in each other. Let's put it like that.
They have respect for each other, but it's not romantic in any way. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So would you rather have that, or would you have God, I forgot where I was going with this.
I'm the opposite of that, where they like do fall in love with each other, or
I don't. No, I forgot what I was going with because I got distracted with because I started talking about the otaku one. Because like I had an idea in my head. It was like a hypothetical. It's like would you rather have romance in an anime or not? I know it's highly situational, but I guess between the leads, would you rather the leads end up in a relationship, or would you rather it not be in there?
I gotta say, depending on the length for me, because the shorter it is, the harder it will be to set it up correctly without it being too obnoxious.
Yeah.
Because if it's not a romance anime or just a romance show in general, and they're just shoehorning this weird love plot in, or they just bring it up last second and they're like, yeah, we love each other, we're gonna go get married, that's just bad writing.
Because like I feel the reason I brought this up was like in my head I'm thinking of all the times that, like I said, jumping the shark and whatnot, like you run into situations where it's a couple of scenarios. It's the leads basically fall in love, like let's say midway through like the show, just like the whole run of the show, like midway, but then it feels like everything after that loses its quality because now they're focusing on something that's not what the show was originally about. If that makes sense. Like if say the show was like about murder mystery, now that they're together the show is less of, like it has that, but now it's the romance is almost overtaking the plot. Like it's more focusing on the characters than it is the actual thing that the show was about.
And I mean, in that situation, I would enjoy more of a seeing relationship problems. Because that's something you just never see in media. You don't see people arguing or fighting over dumb shit or just having disagreements.
Or if you do, it's like highly over exaggerated, and it's like it's a thing that just like ends the whole thing. Like the relationship is then ended, or by the end of the episode they're back together.
Yeah.
Like I guess my thing is like to what degree should animes have romance in it? Like yes, romance anime is separate because that if that's the main focus, that's fine. That's what it is. Yeah. But I guess in other things, like what's too much romance then?
I feel when it's underdeveloped, it's definitely just doesn't belong there at all. But when it has too much showtime in an area that doesn't deserve it, is also just not. Because like they don't show characters having lust for each other. They show characters being like, I love this character. And it's like, no, you love the idea of this character. You like how they look and like the surface personality. You don't know them like deep down.
Well, now that I think about it, like I guess one issue that I always run into is like we don't, in a lot of stuff, we don't see the characters have downtime.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing that we never see
them outside of the combat. Because I know we talked a bit about this in the slice of life, where that's all slice of life is. It's normal. It's like no super overarching plot, like there can be, but mostly no overarching plot, no crazy main big thing that's happening. It's just normal events. But when something like Bleach, where it's like almost constantly combat or some kind of conflict, you don't get to see these characters otherwise in normal or less stressful situations.
But when you
So
do,
these
it's
things
really
seem like. So it seems like some things come out of nowhere, especially with romance.
good. Okay, so there is an example that I'm curious about that kind of has something to do with that, but like it's Koichi and Yukako's relationship from part 4 of Jojo. I also do want
Okay.
to talk about their relationship in general as well, but I mean they're an interesting example where it's kind of a side plot that gets its own episode or two, and then it's just kind of a background thing. I mean they're side characters to begin with, but Jojo's not really good at sticking with the main character.
Especially in part 4.
It's all of part 3 for fuck's sake. Jojo barely talks.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I do want to ask, like, what do you guys think of their relationship? Because I know some people like think that it's creepy, and some people are like, oh no, it's so romantic, blah blah blah. He would go blind for her, you know, like all this other dumb shit.
I don't know. Kind of. It's like it's definitely weird. Like I do like Cinderella episode. Like I feel like that's a really good like thing, like establishing their like relationship and all that. But then like the relationship was literally built off of her being obsessed with him and kidnapping him, and him actually like fighting her to escape.
Yeah, like it's almost sad that like it makes sense for JoJo, but in any other context, like if you take out the stands and just take down the events into their bare bones, it makes absolutely no sense how this is a thing.
Well, I mean, and it's especially weird because I mean Yukiko is the first yandere. Like, so I guess it, in a way, it's like the standard wasn't there before, so main characters being creeped out by that didn't exist yet because that character trope didn't exist.
I guess, yeah, because like if you look at Yandere, you know, like Toga, it's just like, oh,
They're
villain,
like, yeah,
scary.
you're fucking crazy.
Yeah, like I don't know too many Yanderes that you actually end up that the character that they're yandering at is actually like then interested back at them.
Actually, I do have to mention that one anime I was talking about, Momokiri.
Mm-hmm.
The main girl is like a bit yandere, but like in a good way. Like she like stalks, takes pictures of him, and like collects his like trash and stuff. And like it's never creepy. It's just always really funny.
Huh. Comedic yandere. Huh, that's interesting.
Highly good anime comic, and it is a comic. It's not a manga that I recommend. It's like Stalker X Stalker. It's actually really good and kind of wholesome. It's about just two yandere people like kind of falling in love with each other.
I love Stalker and Stalker.
Stalker X
Like,
Stalker is so good.
I have a couple of those pictures on my phone. They're so funny. When she breaks into his house and then he just has pictures of her plastered all over his walls.
Or it's like, where were you last night? It's like, oh, I was watching you sleep. And then it's like, he pulls out his phone. It's just pictures of her asleep.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh god, Stalker X Stalker is so good.
It's like spy versus spy, but with relationships.
Better. Yeah, sorry, I just had to bring that up real quick.
No, that's fine. That perfectly
It
works. Like,
counts as anime, I suppose.
oh, absolutely.
So going back to the thing that Jared was talking about earlier, when you were talking about it, like at first, it reminded me of this anime that like it felt really weird because it felt like it just felt weird because I watch a lot of romance animes, so like it almost felt weird that there was no romance at all. It was this anime called 1 Week Friends. It was just like just with the way the two characters like interact all the time, it just kind of felt like it was almost weird that there wasn't anything.
Oh.
That's interesting.
I keep bringing this up, but another anime that I'm proud they didn't shoehorn in an unnecessary relationship is Death Parade.
Yes.
Because I feel like because obviously Decim just doesn't, or not Decim, fuck, what is his name?
Right.
Is it Decim?
No, you're right.
Decim is his name.
Oh, because like obviously the whole thing is that he doesn't have he has emotions, but he just doesn't show them, kind of thing. and it's like her being dead, and like that's not their relationship. It's not a romantic thing. It's more of like they work together and they have a respect for each other. I really like that. They don't do that enough in shows, and it drives me nuts. But also, great romance episode. We already talked about that episode, but fucking great romance episode. Hello?
Oh, hey, we're back.
I
Okay,
changed the servers, and that seemed to fix it, so.
Cool. That was weird.
That was weird. I guess the fucking Midwestern server went out.
Zach?
He
Hey, we're
Everyone's
live.
back
Okay,
anyways.
what were we talking about? You were talking about Death Parade. Yeah.
Technical difficulty, sorry. Death Parade has a great episode about romance, but we already talked about that, and
Yeah.
that's where I left
Well,
it.
what you cut out was just how Deckham like has no emotions and doesn't or has emotions but doesn't show them. And what were you gonna say? Like how they could?
Oh, wow,
we're glad
I've
they
been talking
didn't
for a
shoehorn
bit by
in.
myself then, fucking Christ.
Yeah, I noticed it. Like you cut out like mid sentence. I'm like,
I talked for a hot minute. More or less, it was just like how like their relationship is more coworkers and how they have a mutual respect for each other instead of it being a relationship, which they don't do enough in anime, in my opinion.
yeah.
I feel like more animes need that, where it's a relationship between two characters that is a mutual like friendship more than anything, and not some weird love subplot thing.
Yeah. Well, because like an issue that I have with a lot of shows is that in longer form ones, this is one that I have a bigger issue with it, is that they sometimes draw out the part of them getting into a relationship. Like it will start out like that, but then it's just like something happens, and then just time goes by, and it's long, drawn-out process before they finally get together. And by the point they actually get together, you're just exhausted by it, because it's like, man, you guys really should have been together like so much longer. So it's like, if you two have liked each other for this long, why didn't you just get together way back there?
Yeah.
And that's like, I think where my conflict comes in, because like I haven't watched a lot of romance anime. Zach has done that. But just shows in general that have romantic subplots, I guess, or they become romantic subplots. I feel like I've just run the gamut of seeing the jumping the shark when they get into a relationship, taking forever to build up into a relationship, the sudden surprise relationship that made no sense, or just the bad relationships that are just like have no reason being a thing. Like of all things like Big Bang Theory, none of those relationships should be a thing.
Yeah.
Because they're just bad.
I don't want to talk about Big Bang Theory.
No, that's fine. We're an anime
truest
podcast.
anime.
But just consuming content like we do, and how I guess just like I said before, love is just a large part of a lot of this stuff. Just
I like the fact that they're hinting at Ochako liking Deku, but I wish they'd build on that a bit more.
yeah,
and they
because
had the perfect opportunity to do it, and they even hinted at it, and then they said "fuck you."
Yeah.
It's when they were like clothes shopping at the mall.
Yep.
And it was just like Ochako and Deku left, but then she just leaves off, and I mean, obviously some plot kicks in after that, but
Yeah.
they were close.
Now I can already tell that one is gonna be a slow burn for them.
That's gonna be a real slow burn.
It's already a slow burn.
I know, we're 4 seasons in, we've had like a scene.
It was like they blush at each other a lot, but like that's about it. Like we don't got a lot going on there.
No. Like
But,
how many shows have we run into this situation? Like Naruto. I don't know enough about Bleach.
I hate
That's a
Naruto.
thing.
No, fuck Bleach's love plot. I don't even want to talk about that shit. Fuck that.
Never mind.
Fuck that ending.
Because like even Avatar, like I felt like the process was long. Like yes, it was a good payoff. Don't get me wrong. Actually, no, I kind of like the one in Avatar because that one was a slow build, but it worked.
Yeah,
I think Avatar had just enough length without being too long to make it work.
I feel like Naruto's a weird one because like I both like it and don't like it. Like, even as a kid when I watched Naruto, I loved how much like Hinata loved Naruto. It was so adorable to watch, and I'm so glad that he ended up with her and not Sakura. Like,
Oh yeah.
I'd be pissed actually if they ended up
Sakura's
together.
Sasuke can have that. Just get that out of here. No. But my problem with the Hinata thing is that there's the setup, there's the payoff, but there's no build up. It's just A and C, but no B. So it's just like at the beginning, Hinata's like, "I love you, Naruto," and all that, and then at C, it's like we're married and have 2 children. But it was like there's not a whole lot of build up into that relationship.
Yeah, that doesn't seem good.
Do you know what I don't even know, because I know nothing about Baruto or Boruto or however the fuck you pronounce it. I know for a fact that those 2 characters are going to end up together, and I hate that. I just don't. I don't care, and it's very bad love plot, and I'm just I don't know, unless he pulls what he did in season 1, but then again, he's just repeating bullshit where the main character doesn't end up with the main girl.
You know what? I was thinking one thing that I really hate in romance animes is like I hate love triangles in romance animes because like the second girl is always more interesting. Like always.
What, the one that he always ends up with, or the one that he doesn't end up with?
The one that he doesn't end up with is always more interesting than the one he ends up with. And it bothers me. And what bothers me even more is the ones where the main guy is in love with the secondary girl, but he transitions into the main girl.
Yeah.
Like Nisekoi, I hate that. Like, like you're in love with her so much. Why just end up together? Don't go for this new girl. Like, what? Stop it. Bad. The only anime I ever think did it well is, I can't remember the name of this anime, but like they set up a love triangle that was. I'm actually glad that they had it, even though I thought the second girl was more interesting. It was just so sad and heartbreaking that like I actually liked it.
Oh. So what happened?
What happened? It's just like the guy's in love with this girl, and then the girl. This guy's in love with this girl. The girl's in love with him. And then the girl's best friend is also in love with the guy, and then the best friend just has to like kind of come to terms that like the guy's not gonna like her back, and it's just really sad. And there's a really like great scene where they talk, where her and one of the other girls just talk on sit on swing sets and talk to each other, and it's just really sad. I think the anime is called like Mashita Symphony or something.
I'd be interested in somebody like Araki taking a stab at anime, like a romance kind of thing. Because I don't know much about JoJolion, because I know that the main secondary character is a girl. But I don't know how that would go. Because I mean, Araki did fairly well with Koichi and Yukako, so I feel like he'd do decent at another romance kind of plot. But
yeah,
I mean, he's done like Road Trip. He's done, typical battle fighting stepbrothers. He's done a bit of everything. So I'd be interested in the romance plot. But
and then like kind of establish, like kind of like develop a relationship with like a side girl, because like we kind of have Joseph and not Joseph, Jonathan and Erina, which is like all right. And then Joseph and like Lisa, like Suzy Q, which kind of comes, which a bit like is kind of not fully established. It just kind of happens.
It was almost like, I feel like if part 2 was longer, they would have been able to set, like, his training bit was longer.
I mean, to be fair, even with how short that length is, I feel like it makes a lot of sense when you see part 3 and 4 and the stupid things that he does later.
Plus, I love the fact that she just nursed him back to health and that's why they got married. Like, I like that, but I wish they would have shown that, not just told us that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it plays into Joseph's, like, impulsiveness.
Yeah.
Given that, you know, he later cheats with multiple people.
I love that.
Oh, he's such a bad person.
Yeah, you
He's
never
still
see a
one of my
main
favorite
character
JoJos.
that's just straight up a bad person. You don't see enough of it, at
He
least.
cheats on his wife with so many people, but he's still one of my favorite JoJos. He's still, like, at least top 2.
Yeah, right.
It's like, for me, it's like Joseph, Josuke, Jotaro, Jonathan.
And then Jotaro is like one of the few, like Jotaro's daughter is one of the main JoJos, but his wife does not matter. His wife doesn't even have a name.
I know, she's just fucking Jolene's mom or Jotaro's wife or just a woman.
Like I think we see her like once, and she's not even like that well designed. They just kind of like she was just kind of lazily put in there.
Which is, it's so weird to me because Araki did so well with like a handful of the relationships that he introduced. They weren't great, but for Araki, I feel like they were done really well. And then he just kind of stopped. He's like, "Yeah, I'm done. Fucking cool. He found a woman. All right, that's it. Anyways, there's fighting over here."
Killer Queen. No. God, that whole subplot between that girl and Akira.
Yeah, I was about to say that's also not a bad question mark romance. I guess that would.
I feel like that was more lust than anything.
I don't know.
but-
It's weird.
My
Oh,
husband
man.
is so much more interesting now. Bone me.
Why won't he bone me?
I like how Kira just did not care. He's like fucking begone thought.
Just, yeah, like Kira's like weird, like has like a lust for hands, but then like just actual women, he's just like nah.
It's like, nah, I'm good.
About those hands though. Yo, what those hands do though?
Yeah. Is there any good romance things that are coming up that you guys are looking forward to? Because I know Dragon Maid Season 2 might be coming out soon. That's not necessarily a romance thing, but there's hints of romance in there, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's not the like. I know we've talked about this a lot, is like romance being the subgenre or the main genre, but I like Dragon Maids in that respect because it's not like, if I had to categorize it, which you shouldn't, but slice of life, then it's a romance. But no, slice of life comedy, then romance, because we only have the one relationship like that, and it's Toru and Kobayashi.
I never really considered it a romance because it never really felt romantic. It just kind of felt like obviously like Toru's like really obsessed with Kobayashi, but then like Kobayashi just kind of sees it as like a mutual understanding and friendship.
I thought in the manga they talked about her liking it, but I might be wrong.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't read the manga, so all I know in the manga is that Kobayashi gets a penis at one point. But
Yeah.
that's all different stuff.
Yeah, I still hope they don't introduce that character.
I am fucking. I mean,
It's gonna happen, boy. It's gonna happen. Going right into the penis zone.
but is there? I have one last thing we could talk about before we wrap it up, unless you guys have something else.
Well, talk about your thing. We may come up with something else.
No, trust me, it's a quick thing.
No,
It's
go
more of
on.
a joke thing, I think. Fucking the beautiful, well-crafted relationship between the main character of Sonic X and Creep the Rabbit's mom. Very beautifully crafted relationship.
So we can stop that conversation.
Yeah, just like immediately. I'm not stopping the podcast, but we're definitely driving right the hell away.
We can
from
just
that.
not do that.
Yeah, no.
Like- Like that.
no.
Not do that.
Yeah, well, let's go. Yeah, let's not do that. You know, it's not even that situation where it's like, yeah, let's don't and say we did. No, just no. We're just not doing that.
No,
Top
let's
10
not.
hottest Sonic
do that.
females in the
We're not
description below. So I was just scrolling through my list and that popped up. I'm like, no.
Why?
All right.
I mean, still better than whatever the weird relationship was in Sonic 2006.
God. All right, let's stop talking about Sonic. I hate that part more than
yeah. So bad.
Soul Eater's like it's weird. Did either of you read or know anything about the original manga?
No, I know it's like wildly different than the anime. I just never read it.
Yeah, because there's like, I don't know, the relationship between Maka and Soul is kind of weird. Because it seems like they're just, coworkers, but they both kind of like each other a little bit.
That's one of those.
Yeah. Have you never seen Soul Eater?
No, I watched Soul Eater.
Okay, I was going to say, I recommend it. If
Watch,
not.
I haven't read it. Oh yeah, no, it's good. Well, good for what it is.
Yeah. Plus, I like the art style. It's unique and nice and holds up, surprisingly.
Oh man, I didn't even... We've been talking about romance, I didn't even talk about Voltron. That has so many weird relationships that go on in that.
Really? Is Voltron still going on, or did it end?
No, it ended.
Okay.
No, it ended like a year or so, like almost 2 years ago. Because, like, it's the newer one, which is the Defenders of the Universe. Or, yeah, I think it's that one. It got a lot of heat, quote unquote, for its ending.
Mm.
I don't think it deserved it, but
It kind of deserved it.
a little. I bet. I mean, not gonna get into that, but like the other relationships I thought were interesting in that show, except for the one where it's like one of the main characters' brothers ends up with an alien dog female.
Nice.
Threw me off because like they don't mention it all. It's just like you see it in backgrounds. It's like, are they together? Oh, they're together. Okay then. But one of the main ones between like Lance and Laura is the ending is so sad because of the events that happen. Like his life is just so sad because like she dies, and then he just doesn't do anything else after that. Like he goes home to Earth and becomes a farmer until they basically bring back the planet or find a new planet that they make the home world for the Alteans.
Mm-hmm.
And he also somehow magically becomes an Altean because of love.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
You know what? Keith is a Galra, so
Yeah, but he's mixed breed. Like he actually what his parents actually was that.
Yeah.
But Keith, like the other guy, literally just becomes Altean because love.
Yeah. There's issues with the ending, but it's just like at the end, it's just sad because he doesn't do anything else, and he's just like throughout the entire rest of the show, he's just like he hits on people until he realizes like, oh, okay, wait, no, I actually seriously like her, and then she dies, and then he just kind of becomes a farmer for the rest of his life. It can basically, it's like Simone at the end of Gurren Lagann. I'm just like, wow, this is super sad.
That reminds me. I love that character development in like anything of like the flirtatious guy that stops being flirtatious to end up with a girl. God damn it! I just realized I fucking did that in D&D, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Did you?
Billy Bust-a-Move.
God.
Oh my god, you did.
But
We'll tell the tale of Billy Bust-a-Move another day, but
yeah, my first D&D character was literally that character arc. But I like that. I just like I like that character arc. Like one anime I keep bringing up Servant X Service. I like they do that really well. Where like at first you think like he's just flirting with the main girl Lucy, but then like eventually you realize like, oh, he's like actually really into her.
Huh.
And one of my favorite like details is that I talked about this in one of our earlier episodes that Lucy has like a ridiculously long name, and he actually like memorizes like the most out of anybody. Like
the memorize it all.
I think he says that he knows it all, but then like we've never heard the whole thing, but the most that we've heard of it was from him. So like obviously he cares enough to like know more than anybody else.
Oh, that's hilarious because I think that actually happens in of all things, that happens in like the first campaign of Critical Role. It's one of the characters, Percy. His name is very long. It's like Percival something 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 Vincent, like Derolo.
Dark side.
And like
Sorry.
the character that like one of the other player characters ends up marrying and having kids with, I think that's one of the things is she just yells out his entire name and he's like, oh, you've actually learned it, good. Just made me think of that.
So no, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, Zach talked about like that's one of his favorite things, where it's the flirtatious one that ends up being realizing that he's in love with someone for real and then kind of gets serious. Then I guess between you and me, Anthony, what is your favorite, not trope, but what's your favorite like relationship buildup, I guess, or like kind of character that ends up in romantic things like that?
See, my problem is I don't necessarily have one, but I have what I would want it to be, if that makes sense.
Okay, so you're hypothetical.
So,
you're
okay,
wanting...
I'm going to be talking about Bleach, but only because they failed to do this love plot twice in a row.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah, it's really weird to me, and that's not why I don't like the romance in Bleach. That's a whole other fucking can of oysters. But so the whole thing is the main character absorbs the one. Main character Ichigo absorbs Rukia, which is one of the two main girl characters. He takes her powers so he can save his family and like his sister and shit. Mm-hmm. And so that's a good deed done for him. Then he has to like essentially do her job while she's out of commission because she doesn't have any powers. So they're working together, and she's showing him the ropes. And then she gets like, "Hey, you broke a law by giving him your power, so we're going to take you to jail." And so then there's a whole season where he's trying to break her out of jail, and that's that whole plot point, and he ends up doing it. And so you feel like, that's a decent way of setting up some kind of romance, or at least the start of something, right? No, they don't.
Huh.
So then they do it again, where the other female girl character who has saved him like multiple times, helped him fight, just like been there for him on multiple occasions, including like healing his wounds and shit, like really good. She gets kidnapped, and then they go and save her. And then at the end of that, they're just still friends.
Oh, nothing comes of it in that way.
Yeah, nothing at all comes of it from that. But the end of the show ends with him getting together with her, and it doesn't feel natural because they had no romance up to that point. There was like times, because like in the very beginning of the show, she like is like, "Oh, I kind of got a crush on him. He's kind of hot." But then when they become friends, that's it. Like they don't. She's not like interested in taking it further. She's like, "No, he's my best friend. I must save him," kind of thing. But it would have been so good because it's like fucking 4 seasons of build up that felt natural and felt decent. And he just didn't. Kubo decided not to capitalize upon it until the fucking last chapter when it's like, "Oh, hey, these 4 characters have kids now." And it's like, bruh. You didn't even put the good characters together. You put the fucking bad ones together.
I think, honestly, probably one of my favorite ones I see in anime is the... much like in stuff I've seen, is the shy character where they have to get broken out of their shell to admit that they like someone, or it's the person, or someone likes the shy character and they have to more or less get them to break their shell to make them realize that either A, they like them, or have them tell them that they like them. I don't know why, there's just something about, I guess, having someone show their emotions and not hide them that I really like. I'm trying to think of one, like, weirdly not the best one I can think of at the moment is the one from Tsurezure Children with the relationship that Zach likes. It's just like she tries to act tough, but she's just like, keeps getting her walls slowly breaking down until it's like, oh wait, I actually like this person. Though I had to say,
Melancholy Haruhi kind of has that with the time traveler girl, but I mean that plot kind of gets dropped after a bit, so.
Oh, that's sad.
I
But
mean,
I'd say probably the one I like the least is that unrequited love bullshit. Like, nothing is more depressing than that to me.
the most well established man, that goes to both of what you said. Is the most like one of the most like well established, like my favorite like romance in all of Haruhi was from the movie, was like alternate reality Nagito, who had like the saddest conclusion.
Yeah.
Like she's like in the book club all alone.
God.
And then like Keon just starts hanging out because he's trying to figure stuff out, and then she like kind of gets used to him and like likes his company. He brings all these other people with him, so like things are really lively now. And then she like asks him to join the club, and then he just refuses because he has to go back to his world. And
God damn it! I forgot about how depressing that fucking ending for her was.
Yeah, like this was the scene where she like I think they end it with like she tries to hand him something and then he doesn't take it, and then she just holds it in her hand, and it's so sad.
Like like going back to what you were talking about earlier, Zach, about love triangles. That is probably the biggest thing why I hate love triangles. Is just, I don't know why, but I feel so much sympathy for the person who gets left out that it's just like, it's almost painful for me to just know that, like, wow, this person is going to be extremely sad because of this. Wow, that's fucked up. And it's even more shitty if that's how like that show ends. It's just with the other person not getting anything out of it.
Yeah,
it's just like, okay, well, these two are together. That's what we focus on now. We kind of ignore this third character that's just like off doing their own thing, I guess.
Yeah, that's like, I don't know. I don't like love triangles because I never feel sympathy for like the other girl. Like I was like, I just kind of wish that the main guy ended up with the other girl because the other girl is always more interesting. But like I said, Mashira Symphony was like the only one that actually like made me super sad for the girl who didn't get with the guy. I'm just like, wow, that did it actually really good.
Yeah, like, yeah, like the two most depressing things are the unrequited love, or the person that they love dies. That's why I felt so bad for like Simone or Lance. Please don't bring that up. I didn't want to get Zach on this.
Oh God, why?
Because Anthony isn't.
You not only brought up Clannad, but you literally brought up the worst part of it.
You even watched Clannad?
No, not yet.
Ah.
I want to, so I can dissect it and pick on something.
Oh, you want to be that person?
Yeah.
God.
Oh.
No, but I in my head, I don't know which one is worse: the unrequited love where the person keeps going on, or the fact that the person that they love dies and they have to go on with that. I don't know which one is worse.
Well,
We need to not end this on a downer. Someone put up something happy.
Damn
It's
it,
the romance episode, damn it.
There's a good romance plot in Bamboo Blade, but I can't remember it, and I hate that. It's like between him and another teacher, and it's like actually pretty decently well made, but I can't fucking remember any of Bamboo Blade. Very vanilla toast anime. So I love that saying, by the way. It's beautiful.
Just thought of something. I know I'm gonna mention this in our seasonal special because this will come up in the topic of one of the animes in the seasonal special. But also, like, I love in romance animes where like the main character, like one of the main characters, has like an ahoge or a ponytail that emotes how they feel.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like in Keijo.
Yeah, I think Keijo did that. But I was thinking of because there's an anime I'm watching this season where a girl's ponytail like wags all the time, and then one of my favorites, Achikoche, does that a lot. Like her ahoge moves a lot, and she also grows cat ears and stuff. In terms of when it comes to like emotions.
Alright, well, I feel like that's a decent place to end it off at.
Yeah, let's wind it down to the end by just throwing out some recommendations. Like don't describe them, just like give out names, just like things you would recommend people to watch.
Melancholy Priority Suzumiya. That's just always, even though it's not really necessarily love.
Tsurezure Children for the variety.
School
That's
Rumble.
my reasoning.
Absolutely School Rumble.
I'm gonna throw a bunch out here. Pretty much everything that I mentioned here: Monogatari, Momokiri, Achikoche, Toradora, and was it Venus to Mamoru? Watch all of them.
MMO Junkie. Yeah.
Oh yeah, fucking MMO Junkie all the way.
Oh yeah.
Yes, MMO Junkie, Love is Hard for an Otaku. Both really good.
I'm probably gonna start watching that.
But yeah, yeah, that sounds pretty good for that. So thank you for joining us. You can find links down to everything in the link dump, along with our Twitters and other social medias if you feel like following us. As always, we post twice a month, and we'll occasionally have a special episode. That one coming up real soon. Might be out already. I don't fucking know. It's around sometime soon.
It'll be a time.
Yeah. Be sure to join us next week, for we will be talking about the hype fest that is Gurren Lagann.
Do.
Oh, it's gonna be a good episode.
I can bet on that episode.
Alright, goodbye, Internet.
Wait, you did my line. I'm not gonna say your line. I hate it.
Oh yeah, you gotta say Zach's now, because
Wait, what's Zach's?
I don't remember, actually.
I don't think I have one.
I don't think he has an outro. I think it's just you and me, and then I hate yours.
Bet on
Bye,
it.
Internet. I'm gonna end you.